What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? I'm your host, DreadMan, and we back with the DreadMan Sports Podcast, Week 8, with my boy, Walter Tile. What's going on, my brother?
Good man. Sorry I missed you guys last week, but Dad didn't call. But glad to be here this week to discuss the NFL happening from previous Sunday.
Understandable. But before we get into the NFL stuff, now, this is a mainly NFL podcast, but you do know that we cover other sports from time to time. But let's go ahead and talk about that Chris Paul and Rajon Rondo brawl that we saw on Saturday at the Lakers Rockets game. Walter Tile, your reaction?
My reaction it's always great when you see guys like Rondo and Chris Paul. And Chris Paul just probably shit on him more so than most in terms of the public perception and public eye. Like people brag on him, he's such a whiner, he's kind of a flopper.
Yeah.
He gets kind of hated on for that. So I think physically, seeing Rondo take a swing at him, most people took enjoyment out of that. Most people probably wanted to swing on Chris Paul in real life.
Yeah.
And it all just kind of got personified by Rondo throwing some games at him. And it was entertaining. And I was surprised that the suspensions were so minimal.
Oh, yeah. I thought they were going to get at least 10 games apiece. But we'll talk about that in a second.
Oh, yeah. Normally, yeah. It's just Adam Silver is definitely doing a nice service. What's up, Flip?
Yeah, is that Flip chimed in? What's going on? Yeah, Flip. Before we get into the NFL, we're talking about the NBA first. We're getting to that whole Chris Paul, Rajon Rondo fight that we saw on Saturday.
We're talking about your LA Lakers, and that's going to throw hands with
Yeah.
Paul, man.
Yeah. Now here's what I think about this. Now, I think that Chris Paul was definitely in the right for the way he reacted, because it could have been a hell of a lot worse. Because if you guys watch the slow-mo instant replay, it is confirmed that Rajon Rondo did spit on Chris. That Chris Paul did spit on Rajon Rondo. I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh man, he was being extra." Now, I don't know about y'all, but where I'm from, if you spit on me, especially if you spit in my face, whether you intentionally do it or not, if you spit in my face and don't apologize, I don't give a damn if it was intentional. You got to get dealt with. You got to get the fade. I'm sorry. But the whole shit started was because Brandon Ingram put James Harden for no reason. Brandon Ingram started it. So if it was me, if I'm the NFL commission, I'm giving Chris Paul 5 games. I'm giving Rajon Rondo 5 to 10 games. And I'm giving Brandon Ingram 10 games off rip. That's just me. But what do y'all think about that?
I don't really care. It was a close game when all that stuff happened. Ingram was pissed. And then, I don't know, people in there swinging on Chris Paul and everybody else.
Yeah, and I bet you Lonzo Ball is sitting back like, well, that's one way to get the starting position over Rondo.
That's the person I was watching that whole thing. I heard
Yeah.
jog over there and act like he was trying to help. It was scuffle. People were fighting. I guess I could understand if people were like, "Oh, suspending 10, 15 games or whatever." But I didn't really care. It was a fight.
Yeah. Because it ain't the last time this gonna happen. We all know that.
Yeah, it's not like they took the truth of the fans or anything. They won't stuff between them. They settled it down, and that's it.
Yeah. All right. Now we can move on to the NFL. This past week was kind of, well, let's see. I regret picking the I regret picking Jacksonville over Houston. A part of me wanted to pick Houston, but I went with what I thought was the safe bet. But trust me, we're gonna get into Jacksonville later on. And I was right on the money about Atlanta. I was right on the money about KC. Oh man, was I right about KC? And I'm glad that I picked New Orleans over Baltimore. I picked them by 9 though. But just a recap of last week. What do you guys think was the game of the week for last week?
Oh, nice. what was I thinking was game of the week? I wanted to say, damn, I don't know, because the Saints game was kind of dude, that's a
New England and Chicago. Well, for me, it was New England and Chicago.
That's how Browns was. That was a pretty good one.
Oh yeah, that was decent. Wallace Todd, what about you? Wallace Todd, what you think? What was the game of the week?
Yeah, I mean the New Orleans Ravens game was on my national broadcast, so I had that on.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the Breeze. I mean, the Saints really didn't start cooking until the fourth quarter, and then Breeze started doing Breeze-like things, and then I was waiting. I was like, it felt like Flacco was able to get some time, and then I mean, come on, you had the go-ahead touchdown. I mean, sorry, the tying touchdown should have been the time score.
Yeah.
With like 4 seconds left, that was like the perfect default to John Brown, who continues to probably be arguably the best free agent pickup in the offseason, like for a team. Like it's absolutely performing like beyond all expectations for the Baltimore.
Yeah.
And then Justin Tucker, he's probably been one. I mean, with all the shenanigans of kickers this season.
Oh yeah.
Tucker's like one of the most consistent kickers. He's the only person. Like obviously we had Mason Crosby a couple weeks ago, and now we have Justin Tucker who missed his first extra point in his career.
It was a 40-yarder too. It was only a 40-yarder, and he missed.
Yeah.
That's what got me. Did you see the look on his face? That was very mean. It was meme worthy. It was very, very meme worthy.
Yeah, man, he's never had that happen to him.
Yeah.
He cost them the game. Like they could have got into overtime, and he should be looking at being 5-2 and right there with the Steelers at the top of the division. But now you're scrambling to think like what's next right now,
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I put that up there. That or Carolina's Cam's performance against the Eagles. One of those two games are my top games. I mean that New England game was really confusing to me because of all the. I just felt like the New England just got lucky with the special teams plays, and then that the Bears still almost pulled it off.
Oh yeah.
That Hail Mary at the end. That was entertaining, but the Patriots to me, man, I think they're starting to look a little suspect.
Yeah, they're starting to get those chinks in the armor exposed. But yeah, what do you guys think? Who do you guys think was the most improved team of this week?
I want to say the Broncos, but they kind of went toe-to-toe with the Rams last time.
Oh yeah.
I would say either the Broncos or the Texans. I mean. Yeah, I would say I want to go with Texas just because Broncos are blowing out the Cardinals. But I mean the Jags, I don't know if they've been kind of like in the slump these last 2 weeks. So either way, I mean, man.
Yeah. For me, it was the Washington Redskins. I mean, and even though the Washington Redskins, while to me they are terribly underrated, are at the top of the NFC right now, or at the top of the NFC East right now. So yeah, I mean they can actually make more noise than they can be a bigger threat than possible. But then again, we got to see them down the stretch. But yeah, they're my most improved team this week. But Wallace Todd, what about you?
It's really hard because like Dallas really blew that game at the end. I feel like just a lot of mistakes in that game. So I mean, yeah, the Redskins have looked a little bit better than I would have expected. Like Adrian Peterson just putting together a lot of things for that spot. And they do look like I always felt like the NFC is going to be kind of hard to call. But I mean, I think at this point it's obviously between the Redskins or the Eagles, I think. But in terms, I mean, yeah, I think it's easy to kind of lean on Houston, I guess, and look at them as my most improved team, just because of performing as well as they did in Jacksonville. They've quietly won four in a row. Granted, the competition has been a little bit suspect, but they only gave them a touchdown. I'm gonna rock with them as my most improved team of the league.
All right. And last but not least, our choke of the week, and I am pretty much. I mean, it's a toss up between the Cowboys and the Ravens, who do had the worst choke this week.
I'm going Cowboys. It's got to be Cowboys. They did so many stupid things in that last drive. Um, First of all, like there's no sense of urgency whatsoever in that last drive. Like the Jack, like I felt like they burned like 20 or 30 seconds off the clock for no reason.
Oh yeah.
I know they had a timeout, and then they ran like a simple like a play with Ezekiel Elliott. Instead of trying to get more yards, they did like a run play to kind of center the ball before they called a timeout, which I thought was so stupid. Instead of just trying to get more yards, and then that dumb penalty, which I think the Cowboys did get hosed on, but still, it should have. I think it should have gotten closer than it did. Is Chris hit the uprights after he's going back 5 yards, and it probably would have been perfect down the middle if they hadn't gotten that penalty. It's just all around coaching. The refs blowing it for them. I think the Cowboys took it away. I think they took it away.
All right, Flip, what about you? And then I got another thing before we get to our predictions.
I'm going to send the Eagles.
Oh, wow.
Campbell 17-0 lead in the fourth quarter and gets sold by Super Cam.
Yeah. But you expect that. But the thing is, can you really call it a choke? Can you call it a choke? Because we expect it from Cam Newton. No, we expect Cam to be, like come back and stuff like that. That's what we expect from him. But I see what you mean, though.
You expect someone to come back, but not from 17-0 down and you give up 21 points in the fourth quarter alone. And on 4th and 10, you had to stop right there. You could have stopped 4th and 10. You gave up the biggest play to, I think it was Greg. Yeah, it's like, come on, man. Like, nah, that's unacceptable. Like, you deserve to speak that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and one more thing. Speaking of dumbass play calling, I don't know if you guys watched the Monday night game between the Giants and the Falcons, but God Almighty, Eli Manning and the coach. They wasted 40 seconds. They could have tied up the damn game, or they could have had a chance at an onside kick. But no, they had to do 2 quarterback sneaks, which ran 40 seconds off of the damn clock. I mean, they still scored, but I mean, come on, like just terrible play calling and just terrible placement by the New York Giants. The Giants deserve the record for the way they're playing. They can't get it together in the locker room. They have no kind of sync. The play calling is trash. And Eli, his heart's not in it. He don't even want to play anymore. He's playing just to play. He's not even playing to win. He's playing to survive now.
And he missed that wide open pass to Odell for the touchdown.
Yeah.
He probably would have kept him in the game. I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Well, all right, fellas, let's get into it. Week 8. Thursday night football game. We got the Miami Dolphins at the Houston Texans. Walter, who you got? Dolphins, Texans.
Yeah, the Dolphins squad. I remember looking ahead when the Dolphins were 2-3-0, and I thought the Dolphins were like surprised of the season. I was kind of impressed by their play, but now there's a team that's depending on Brock Osweiler and leaning on him, and it's just like when I think of that quarterback versus Houston, who why he played for, whose defenses look granted the caliber of offenses they've had to compete against has been kind of slow or very 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 weak, but I just think that against the Dolphins team. I think, Lamar Miller had a pretty solid game against the Jags defense. I think he kind of keep that up against the Miami squad. Hopkins, again, pretty well this season. I think it's pretty good that I'm gonna go Houston in this. I think Houston wins this running away. Give me Houston 23, Miami's 14. Although I am concerned, obviously, about the health of Deshaun Watson. Apparently, he couldn't go on an airplane. He had to fly a bus due to a lung issue. So I don't know how that's going to factor in going forward with this team and if they can make a playoff run. But for this game, I'm going to go with 2 cents.
All right, sounds good to me. Flip, who you got? Dolphins or Texans?
I'm going to have to probably go with Dolphins here. They're on the good streak. Osweiler's playing some pretty good football. It doesn't really matter who he's thrown to out there. I mean, he's been using Amendola, Alfred Wilson, who's hurt now. I think they're bringing in some backups now.
Yeah.
But I still faith in him. He's kind of right in the hot hand right now. Like Ross said, Deshaun Watson got I think they said it was a collapsed lung or something.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's playing.
Broken rib. It's a broken rib, collapse lung, something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. It clearly has been affecting him because I think he only threw like 120 yards last week.
They didn't throw much against the Dogs.
Yeah, but I mean, they're gonna probably rely on the run game. The Dolphins defense really isn't a slouch this season. They're kind of underrated. I mean, they've done enough to keep them in the game. So I think it's going to be one of those games where either Deshaun checks out early because he can hit or can't get the deep ball out and the Dolphins can stop the run game. I mean, I don't really trust Lamar Miller that much. He's kind of on and off this game. So I'm going to say Dolphins take this one. I'll say 23-17.
All right. Now, I looked at both teams' previous games, and Flip, I would agree with you if it wasn't for the fact that they struggle with the Bears. No. Before you say anything, I'm not saying that the Bears are a slouch. I mean, come on. They went head-to-head with the Patriots in the previous weeks. So, yeah, but I think that at this point, if you were to match up, all right, let's just say if the 2018 Bears were to go up against the 2018 Houston Texans, give me the Houston Texans 7 times out of 10. Now I know y'all probably sitting there looking at me like I'm crazy, but that's just my opinion. I think that the Texans offense is better than the Bears defense, but I mean, like I guess we won't really know unless they play each other. I mean, but still, now as far as the Dolphins, I do trust Brock Osweiler a hell of a lot more than I trust Ryan Tannehill. Now, the system. I mean, under Osweiler, like, I think that he plays more to their speed, while Tannehill is a little bit more of a conservative player. He doesn't play aggressive like Brock Osweiler can. And Flip, you are right about the defense for the Miami Dolphins. Their defense is just a tad bit slept on, but I don't think that their defense is going to be enough to stop Deshaun Watson because he's a dual threat. Now, if they can sack him and hurry him up, then they might have a problem. But I think that he runs well enough out of the pocket to neutralize that rush. Now, as far as the we'll move out of the pocket still. But as far as Houston's defense might have Brock Osweiler running for his damn life, and Brock Osweiler can scramble, but he can't Deshaun Watson scramble. And not to mention that this is at home, too, for the Texans. So go ahead and give me the Houston Texans by 10 points over the Miami Dolphins, 21-31. All right, next up. What was that?
Oh, I was going to say, all right. I mean, it's going on.
All right.
I'll take the underdog pick here.
All right.
I guess I'll
Y'all are probably gonna be surprised at what my underdog of the week is, because I always do what y'all are probably gonna be shocked. So just keep a listen out. But all right, next up we got the Philadelphia Eagles on the road against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, before I say anything, I got a question that I want to ask you, gentlemen. My question is, as far as Jacksonville goes, have they just had a string of bad luck, or have we figured them out? Have they been exposed? What do you guys think?
They've been exposed. Blake Bortles is the limiting factor for this team, and obviously they had the injuries to running back and their depleted receiving core. It's just been kind of just a string of bad luck for them, and unfortunately, but I think again to the point, Blake Bortles can't hide behind Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
And his defense that has been exposed at times. been kind of figured out. They don't have that aura around them like they used to, or like they had last season. It just the whole down to is Blake Bortles is trash, and if you resort to Cody Kessler in the second half of the game, you're not built long this season. So unfortunately there's just a lot of things going on in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And, go ahead, what do you think?
I think they've kind of been exposed, but a part of me wants to say it's also Fournette. And I feel like they've kind of filled that void now with Carlos Hyde. He couldn't play these last few weeks. He's still learning the playbook, and he was just traded. I don't think Yeldon's one of those every down backs. I don't think he can carry a full workload like Fournette could. And I think Hyde's going to be that determining factor this week to kind of get their offense moving, because they really needed that kind of bruiser up the middle back like Fournette is. I don't think they built their offense around Blake Bortles. I feel like they built it around Fournette, and I think that's why they went out and got Hyde. So you could say that they found it and they exposed their team, the Jags. But I think it's just offensive issues, and Hyde might be that fix that they need.
I still don't think it's enough. I still don't think they have enough in the receiving end now.
Yeah.
And if Bortles isn't good enough, isn't good enough. He has he's very streaky, and he's been up and down, and he's not that receiving core like Tom Brady or Andrew Luck could make that receiving core look better. But Bortles doesn't have that talent. He just doesn't. He makes bad throws.
I was going to say, how do you like Kessler up there when he was playing?
It's like a difficult situation where he scrambles and he made some plays. Like he had that one touchdown that they had where it looked like it was almost an illegal forward pass. He was just barely behind the line of scrimmage when he made it. But I don't think it's anything that's gonna I don't think it's gonna be like a situation where it's like a Colin Kaepernick coming into the backup, he takes the team off and they go to the Super Bowl with the backup. I don't think it's that situation. I think you get some I'm not sure if Kessler's even gonna start in London. I think they're probably gonna give it back to Bortles, but I think they just needed to try something new for that game, because Bortles was just not doing anything in that game.
True. Some people actually talk like I was watching on ESPN about this. They used to talk about two potential quarterbacks that could stand in for him. Do you think that Tyrod Taylor could possibly fill in for Blake Bortles' role?
Probably his role better than
Yeah. I mean, Tyrod Taylor got the Bills last year for the playoffs. I mean, he can definitely get one thing for Bortles for someone that knows the whole system of the offense, the playbook. But I mean, Tyrod at least, the only thing with Tyrod is just the health thing. I mean, Bortles, for all he's concerned, like Bortles is still pretty durable. Like Bortles really, I think Bortles, and maybe it's just like one game or something. I think he didn't win this many games. Tyrod probably get out there, he clock a couple of scrambles, he'd be out for a few weeks. So Bortles does have that kind of like that Eli Manning gene, so to speak. He plays a lot. He's pretty durable, doesn't miss too much games, but it's I can see Tyrod probably propelling this team a little bit. It's got more of that improvisation. I mean, Bortles can scramble too, but it's just I think Tyrod probably is getting a little bit better.
Yeah. But all right, the predictions, fellas. Then we move on to our next game.
I'm probably gonna go with the Jags here. I haven't been facing them. I think the Hyde and Yeldon tandem is gonna be what they need. I think Blake Bortles can do enough to win this game. The Eagles are missing I think Nick Barnett now. I think he's out for the season, so their pass rush is going to be hurt a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They've shown that they can blow leads in games, and I feel like the Jags defense is. I don't feel like they've been bad. I just feel like the offense has just been so bad that they look bad. So I got the Jags winning this one. I'll say 23-20.
All right. Let's talk your final game prediction.
Yeah, if this game was anywhere but London, I would pick the Eagles in this game. But for some reason, Bortles is like really good at football, really good at international. I don't know why. He just plays really well in front of London. And again, if the Jags don't bench him for the game, I think the Jags somehow still pull it off. I mean, the Eagles just have this weird punk on them. I think Wentz is good enough to kind of not be too intimidated by the secondary here. I think Wentz has been having a pretty solid season, even though the Eagles overall hasn't been performing up to expectations. But I just think the London crowd. I think Jacksonville is very used to traveling. I can't remember when the Eagles last played overseas, but I'll lean on the Jags experience. They have a lot of veterans there that have made that travel, so I'll go with the Jags in this one. Jags 23, Philly 13.
Well, you gentlemen both make pretty good cases. Let me just say this. I don't give a damn if it's in Japan. They could play in Japan. They could play in Moscow. They can play in Brazil, for all I care. It doesn't matter if that line doesn't protect Blake Bortles. It doesn't matter. He's gonna taste the same pavement. He's gonna taste the same turf he did on international turf as he will in America. Now, it's like they got a fighting chance. Don't get me wrong, but it's just, I don't trust Blake Bortles having the ball in his hands in the last 4 minutes of the game because he throws a pick, gets sacked for like 15 yards where he gets put in like a 3rd and 25, 3rd and 15 type of situation. And you're right, he doesn't have Leonard Fournette to lean on, and like the running game's kind of been crippled because of that. And don't get me wrong, because they gave the Patriots all they can handle, but they weren't the same, they weren't the same team that played the Patriots. And Philly's been in some wars. They've been in some boxing matches the past few weeks. And even in their wins and their losses, they've always been close. Sure, you can say that they choked against Carolina, but Carolina earned the hell out of that win. And you can say that you could bring up their loss in overtime to the Titans, but still, I'm going to go ahead and give this to Philly by 3 points over the Jags, 27-24. Now, Kansas City going up against the Denver Broncos. Whew! And it is at Arrowhead. What's the top? What you got? You got Kansas City or you got Denver?
So I guess this was a really entertaining game when it was on Monday night, I believe, early on in the season. And Denver has looked good the last couple of weeks. Granted, they lost to the Rams, but they were the only team so far that's really pushed the Rams all this season. So I don't think that can be taken for granted. And they look phenomenal on the road in Arizona. However, this is going to be in Arrowhead. Arrowhead's a really tough place to play in. It's all a matter of, the team. It was like the first team that makes the Chiefs offense look a little bit suspect, at least for a half, before the Chiefs started rolling. And you have to decide whether or not, was it the home field that was helping the Denver in that instance? I'm not sure. I mean, they haven't been playing well, but the Chiefs right now, like even when the Chiefs have lost, they still look really, the offense still looks not unstoppable. Their defense had their best game this past week.
Oh yeah.
So that could be a sign. Maybe they're starting to get things together when they're starting to get
Yeah.
I think they still have Eric Berry still out.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Justin Houston, but I think.
And Patrick Mahomes dismantled what's supposed to be a scary defense in the Bengals. So yeah.
Oh yeah, it's unbelievable. I'm still waiting for this kind of condition on MVP season to kind of have a little bit of a hiccup, but he so far has not, save for that one game against Jacksonville where he was performing well. But other than that, he's been absolutely lights out. He's having one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs right now. After ride the hot hand. I think this game's a little bit more of a blowout than the previous one. I think it's not as close. I think it's going to be Chiefs 34, Denver 21.
All right. Sounds good to me. Flip, who you got? Chiefs Broncos.
And I'm hoping that the Broncos beat the Chiefs.
Of course.
I highly doubt that that's going to happen.
Yeah. Not an Arrowhead. Not an Arrowhead. But.
Not Arrowhead, not Mile High. The Broncos defense, I mean, they're good on paper, but I don't know. They can definitely give up points. I feel like a lot of their wins have come against bad teams.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't really say they're just offensive or defensive juggernaut. Their games against the Rams, I give them credit, but also I think that was the game Cooper Kupp and Brandon Cooks were injured.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was the game Cooper Kupp and Brandon Cooks are injured. Early was Cooper Kupp, which is still second highest targeted player on the team, so
yeah,
pretty big deal. Their last game against the Chiefs, I feel like that's just them knowing them from division rivalry. I feel like it could be the same thing this time around, but it feels like Andy Reid comes up with his plays every week, or it's just the whole get more comfortable or something, man. Cause it's weird. They're definitely getting Kareem Hunt involved now, so
yeah.
I don't know, man. It's looking bad for the Broncos. I have to agree with Wes. Probably going to be like 34-21. This should be an easy win for the Chiefs.
That's the scary part. Is Mahomes is looking more and more comfortable, and I think Kareem Hunt, he just seems to be. I mean, playing a little better. He seems to be more involved offensively, putting up better numbers at least.
Mm-hmm.
So as this starts to take shape, it just seems, and if the defense starts, stepping up like they did last week, it's kind of like hard to see any team, with the exception of the Rams, beat this squad, even though the Patriots are good.
Yeah.
And let's not forget that they still haven't gotten Eric Berry back.
Yeah, they still haven't got him back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But hopefully Eric Berry, he'll be 100%. But as far as my prediction on this, now, if Patrick Mahomes was going up against if he was going up against the Broncos 2014-2015 secondary, where they had Chris Harris, T.J. Ward, Bradley Roby, and Aqib Talib, then he might have a little bit of a problem on his hands. But that's not the case. Von Miller, of course, he might have to do a little bit of running from Von Miller, but that line is doing a damn good job of protecting Patrick Mahomes. And you guys have broken down all the weapons that KC's got on the offensive side better than I could. I mean, come on. They got Tyreek Hill. They got Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins, he's underrated as hell. But he's doing his work too. Travis Kelce is Travis Kelce. Come on now. And Kareem Hunt is getting a little bit more involved as far as you see, you guys have noticed that little screen bootleg pass that he gets 10, he ends up scrambling for an extra 10 or 15 yards after the catch. That's very, very helpful. Now, I don't know if the Broncos will be able to do anything about that. And as far as the Broncos, I believe they're going to be able to put up points. But if you ask me who I'd rather have, if I'd rather have Case Keenum or if I'd rather have Patrick Mahomes with the ball in my hands in the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game, give me Patrick Mahomes 9 times out of the 10. So I'm going to have to give this one to Kansas City by 9 points over the Broncos. All right, next game. We've got the Cleveland Browns on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, gentlemen, I am going first. This is it. This is redemption. This is it. This is redemption time. This is the game to wash the nasty taste out of our mouth that was the season opener at the Browns' home stadium. I expect nothing less than complete and utter destruction, total annihilation. We're going to put our foot on the back of their goddamn necks and break it. All of our weapons, Juju, AB, possibly a returning Le'Veon Bell, James Conner. We have two dangerous tight ends. We got Jesse James and Vance McDonald, who's pretty much a bulldozer on 2 feet. And hopefully the secondary steps up. And if they do, then I don't give a damn if it's Baker Mayfield or the Baker man who made the goddamn, or I don't care if he's Muffin Man. I don't give a shit. I can't even talk straight right now. So go ahead and give me the Pittsburgh Steelers 35-0 over the Cleveland Browns. Stamp it, 35-0. Okay, now that I got that out of the way, I got that round out of the way. But in all seriousness, I got Pitt by 14. 28-14 will be the final score. Flip?
I got a question.
Okay.
Didn't y'all tie against Tyrod Taylor Brown?
Yes, we did. Keep in mind, the Browns were at home.
Okay.
They tied against the Browns that weren't starting Baker Mayfield, nor were they really giving Nick Chubb many carries.
Yeah, and not to mention, Big Ben had 5 turnovers in that game, 3 interceptions and 2 fumbles.
Maybe I'm not coming up that walkway saving down there. Look, I'm probably gonna have to go with the Browns in this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've been rooting for the Steelers. Waiting for you to jump on the ship and finally support the team and finally support them. I'm proud of you. But I like the Browns in this one, man.
Wow.
I feel like Baker Mayfield, he knows he can expose the defense. You guys really don't have a pass rush? You know what? Man, I'm using the Steelers in fantasy football.
Whoa, hold on, wait a minute. T.J. Watt, Javon Hargrave, Vince Williams.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So this is what's gonna happen in this game. It's gonna be a low-scoring game. You guys are gonna sack Baker Mayfield about 8 to 10 times, but he's gonna pull out the win, man.
All right.
I don't know, man. It's Baker and Nick Chubb that's kind of giving me that hope. Antonio Callaway, he hasn't looked bad. He's just dropping balls. Jarvis Landry is still Jarvis Landry.
Oh, I forgot about Jarvis Landry.
He definitely make a play. So, I mean, I like Nick Chubb's running style way better than Hyde. I feel like a big play running back. I feel like that's the thing that might tell you guys. You guys might be like, we're about to stop the ground. The next thing you know, Chubb gets that 21-yard run and gets the momentum to Baker. And their defense is no slouch, man. I mean, Chargers scored still, but I don't know, man. I feel like the Browns know how to play against the Steelers, and this might be the game where they win it. They should have won against the Bucs, to be honest. They should have won against the Raiders. I feel like the refs kind of got them on those 2 games. So I can't sleep on the team, so I'm going to say Browns win. It's going to be really close, like 24-21.
Okay. You are entitled to your opinion. I will just say that. You are entitled to your opinion. All right, but okay, all right. What's the top who you got? Steelers or Browns? At Heinz Field.
Heinz Field?
Yes.
If it's in Heinz Field, okay. If it's in Heinz Field, the Browns only win by 10.
Yeah.
What?
just playing.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna. The Steelers have looked pretty good the last couple of weeks. Browns, I'm not sure how they're gonna. I'm not how they're walk away from that overtime loss. And then obviously it looks like it's something before. And then I'm not sure how the Steelers will play if they went ahead with Le'Veon or if they keep him back more. Do we know if Le'Veon is gonna play or we're not sure yet?
He hasn't even shown up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they're probably, yeah. I almost in this instance, I might think that they might be better off with Connor because Connor had a hell of a game.
Oh yeah. Connor's top five running backs in the league right now.
Yeah, he might be better off just sticking with Connor. Yeah, I'll take Steelers in this game. I don't. I am curious to see how well this game is for the Browns with obviously Mayfield starting versus Tyrod and obviously the added role of Big Chubb. But Steelers, they've been put the last couple of weeks. And I think they put it aside and just kind of banded together amongst the function. So give me the Steelers in this game, 28 round 17.
Now keep in mind, I still think that the Steelers going to have a double-digit lead of this game by the time it's over. But you guys are right. The Steelers have never faced a Baker Mayfield-led Browns before, but Baker Mayfield has never faced the Steelers either. So that's a heads or tails kind of thing right there. So you guys have a point right there about we're being a stranger to how Baker Mayfield plays. Hopefully they watch some game tape and hopefully Mike Tomlin makes some good decisions and hopefully we don't get carved up on defense. But yeah, hopefully the thing is, it's going to be on the secondary. Either that, or we're going to have to hurry Baker Mayfield up to where he doesn't get a chance to plant his feet and throw. He can scramble too, but still, he's better in the pocket. He's better with his feet planted than he is on the run. But like I said, I still got them, the Steelers winning by double digits. I want to say 14 points, but go ahead and give me 10 points just to be on the safe side. All right, next game, we got another NFC East divisional matchup. The Washington Redskins on the road against the New York Giants. Flip, you want to take this one first? Oh my God.
I don't like these matchups. I can show the young kids that I can still run the ball better.
Yeah. It's Adrian Peterson versus Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, he outshone the. I don't think. I think he's got his match made with Big Horn.
Yeah, but Adrian Peterson is 33. Saquon is 23, and they're both running exactly alike. So what does that tell you? Exactly. Oh yeah, but can you say that the Falcons' defense is better? Well, never mind. Yeah, is the Falcons' defense better than the Redskins?
It's Odell with Warren too. That's going to be kind of funny. Yeah. Oh man. It comes from Eli. It's like Eli does not give a fuck anymore, does he?
He doesn't. He doesn't.
He doesn't, but at the same time, he did lead them in that last drive.
But it was a dumb coaching decision.
They got down there quick. Grant to get that nice bomb to Sterling Shepard. At some points it's like he does care. But it's not throughout the game. He's got that aloof face. You don't know what he's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I think that just made my mind. I feel like with Evan Ingram that it did open the field for Odell and Sterling Shepard go off. Saquon Barkley is going to get his regardless. And Alex Smith isn't Matt Ryan, and they really don't have a Julio out there. I think they get Chris Thompson back this week.
Mm-hmm.
So that could help, but yeah, I feel like this might be a Giants game. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's a division match. Could go either way. It depends on maybe if Odell can smoke Norman, because if Norman gets in his head, it might be over.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna lean towards the Giants to win this one. I'll say Giants win 21-17.
Close. All right, Walter Tyler, who you got? Giant Skins.
Yeah, this is for sure going to be a close game. Most of these divisional games are, especially in the NFC East, where it seems like, at least like even right now, granted, the Giants are probably the only team to probably basically eliminate for winning that division. The other three teams all kind of relatively still in it. The Redskins have looked better than advertised going into this season. Alex Smith, he's been kind of, what he was with the Chiefs. Not really going to make too many mistakes. He's not going to obviously, need to have that offense out there to drop the 30 points, but he manages the game well. Doesn't put his defense in a bad spot with turnovers that give the other team offense to work with. And Adrian Peterson has having quietly a nice season. Like, he's on pace right now for 1,100 yards, which at this stage in his career is remarkable. Like, I guess I'm not sure a lot of us might have thought Adrian Peterson was done, but for him to have that kind of season right now is remarkable. It's definitely a boost to the club. The Giants, I don't know. I think Odell had a hell of a game last week, but I don't know with Eli. That defense I'm fine with, but it's largely, but just Eli. It all falls on Eli and that play calling. I don't know. It's very suspect. It hasn't been what I'm sure Giants fans were hoping for with this offense, but I think maybe it's going to take another week or so with England back to kind of get to a footing. But I guess we'll be keeping at home. I'm still going to go with the Redskins. The Redskins are overall better team. That Josh Norman, Odell matchup will definitely be entertaining. I'm going to go with the Redskins in this game. The Redskins 20, Giants 16.
All right. Now, I've gone on record to say how disappointed I am in the Giants because all these weapons that they got and all this potential, but it falls apart with bad coaching decisions, Eli not caring anymore, and with Odell, being Odell. Good player, but he's too much of a hothead. And Flip, you mentioned that matchup between Josh Norman and Odell Beckham, and we know the history between the two. We already know they don't like each other. If and you're right about if Josh Norman can get Odell Beckham off his game, then that should even put it. If Odell Beckham, if Josh Norman and Odell Beckham keep button heads going at it, then that'll only lead to Saquon Barkley. And if the line can jam him up, then guess what? That's ball game. It's game over. Now, Alex Smith is doing some pretty damn good work. And like you guys mentioned, you guys pretty much said it all about Adrian Peterson. The man had a second win, and he's looking to be one of the top, backs in the league right now. Now, the Redskins, they are underrated right now. I mean, like I said, I don't know why people are sleeping on them. They're quiet, but still. And I think that the Giants might give them a fight, but ultimately they're probably going to fall by the wayside against the Skins. Give me Washington 24-14 over the Giants.
24-14.
Yep.
Before we go on, do you guys think long-term Giants for the franchise made the right thing drafting Saquon and not going with a quarterback like Darnold?
Yeah, because they can get a veteran quarterback from somewhere. they could pick up like one of these 7, 8, 9 year quarterbacks who's sitting on the bench at another team, or get a quarterback in free agency, something like that, and then they just put him whenever Eli decides to call it a day, they could just bring one of them in. So
they're going to be in their place to college draft after this.
yeah.
Right. The quarterback draft not as deep, as it was. I mean, the past draft was really deep.
I don't know if it was not Mahomes, Darnold versus Saquon. I'm taking Saquon every time.
Oh, definitely.
I feel like you can find a Sam Darnold level quarterback in the next draft, and if not, you can probably trade for like Derek Carr or something. Or maybe shake it up a little bit and get Kaepernick.
Oh yeah, a lot of people were saying that Kaepernick actually would be a good fit for the Giants. I don't disagree.
I don't think that will. I'm not sure if that O-line.
Well, he can. You forget he got wheels.
He does, but he's not. He can scramble, but he's not like
Cam Newton.
He's not evasive. He's not like Russell Wilson evasive.
Yeah.
But he's kind of a lankier. Like if he gets some open field in front of him, like he's gone. But he can't cut. He can't cut and like maneuver in a collapsing pocket as well.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Like Russell Wilson could probably do fine in that behind an offensive line that bad. Hell, he's done it well behind his terrible offensive line itself in Seattle. But Kaepernick's different in terms of he's a fast mobile quarterback, but it's just he's not evasive. He can't cut well.
Yeah, but his biggest weapon is probably that little play he does.
You mean going to read option?
Yeah, read option. Yeah, that read option is probably his biggest weapon.
Yeah.
Pat Sherman running the read option now?
Yeah, I think so. But all right, fellas, on to the next game. We got, this is interesting. The Seattle Seahawks going on the road against the Detroit Lions. Now, Seahawks and Lions games are always interesting, always the same, because it seems like we see these teams in the playoffs one way or the other. And it's been that way the past 4 or 5 seasons. But anyway, Walter, who you got? You got Detroit or you got Seattle?
Seattle had a bye last week, I believe. They are on the road. Detroit is booked. Detroit looked good the last couple of weeks. They're rookie running backs and having quite a good season right now. Might be the front runner for rookie of the year potentially. But I don't know. I think this might be the kind of last little stand Seattle pushes. Seattle can still kind of hang around, and maybe give the Rams. Like even though the Rams are undefeated, there's a slim chance Seattle, kind of sneak in there. If they get on a roll here. I think I'm solely going off of who I think of as the other coach. I trust Pete Carroll's coach. Quarterback, I mean, slight push. I might give the edge to Wilson versus Stafford.
Yeah.
But gosh, even with the I do give offensive pieces. I'll give the benefit over out to Detroit, Seattle. Even with the injuries, I might still lean on as being possibly better defensively. At least they're really good in their last outing against the Raiders. I don't know. I mean, they gave the Rams a hell of a game too, actually.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm gonna go with the Seahawks in this game. I think overall they have some better performances. I think, and I think that they kind of see the writing on the wall, just like they did last good season before it really falls down and breaks. They have to kind of rebuild again. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks in this game. Give me Seahawks
Flip, who you got? Seahawks, Lions.
Damn. The Seahawks O-line is rejuvenated or something. I don't know. They look good.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense has been decent since Earl Thomas has gone down. I feel like both offenses are pretty high-powered. Doug Baldwin, Tyler Lockett, Chris Carson,
Golden Tate,
Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones. I think are they using Kerryon Johnson and Blunt as a little tandem?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, both teams have that high-powered offense that can put up points. I would say their defenses are about the same. I feel like this game, the Seahawks might have the advantage because they've decided to kind of go that run-heavy route, and the Lions are pretty bad against the run. So if Chris Carson and Mike Davis and Rashad Penny can get going, this might be the game where you see the Seahawks kind of let Russell hand the ball off and kind of pick his plays where he wants to go down the field. I'm probably going to lean Seahawks here. I'm going to say Seahawks win 28-23.
All right. Once again, you gentlemen both make pretty damn good cases. Now, alluding to what Wazatov said about the Seahawks giving the Rams a hell of a game, you can make the exact same case for when the Lions beat the Patriots. But yeah, this is a home game for the Lions, but it's just that these teams are somewhat familiar. They somewhat know each other's games. They've seen each other in the playoffs, I think, like 3 times in the last 5 years, all of which the Seahawks have come out on top. And Russell Wilson, I mean, the thing is, even if you get to Russell Wilson, I mean, if the D-line gets to Russell Wilson, he still can, pop out with some kind of magic. He still can get the ball down the field. And both teams' running games are pretty damn good. Well, actually, you might be able to edge the running game a little bit to the Lions. But the thing is, you can edge the passing game out slightly, maybe to the Seahawks. But then again, we both did a good job of mentioning Seahawks. Mentioning the Lions' weapons as far as the receiving core. And this one was really a tough one. This really is a toss-up. But guess what, gentlemen? This is our first hat trick for this week. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to the Seahawks by 7 points over the Detroit Lions, 28-21.
Well, it's easy to trust that franchise more than Detroit. So just overall, Seattle has more of a winning. Detroit, Detroit's gonna mess up.
Right. All right. Next up, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going on the road against the Cincinnati Bengals. Flip, who you got? Bengals, Bucks.
Bengals, Bucks?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Jameis? I don't know, man. He's pretty, yeah. I mean, he can put up the yards. He can keep them in the game. It's just, their team's a little sketchy. Oh, man. You don't think Jameis is the worst bust than Jamarcus?
Yeah.
Wait, Jamarcus Russell?
Yeah.
You think he's the worst bust than Jamarcus Russell? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. I thought you were going to say worst quarterback. I was like, damn.
Oh, hell no. You got to give James Winston more credit than that.
I mean, number one overall bust.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say that. Who's the quarterback? Oh, wait, who was the dude before him? He was pretty bad too. I think his name is Josh something. Hold on. Josh Freeman?
Josh Freeman.
Yeah, he was the number one. Oh, no, I'm talking about number one. I'm talking about NFL draft, NFL draft, okay, you're saying number one. Okay. Yeah, you can make that argument pretty well. like,
yeah, I can't think of anybody.
Yeah.
I actually said, no, but. Word but. Number one overall but. And I mean, when I go down the line, again, I probably should have specified quarterback, but you know what? No, Sam Bradford was 2010.
Yeah.
Sam Bradford
was number 2 pick. That's weird.
I think he was.
No, Bradford went to the Rams.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was the Bradford.
Yeah. That's Sam Bradford, yeah. Matt Stafford the year before, then DeMarcus Russell was the year before Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm going with Sam Bradford. Yeah, I would say if he can put up the yards, I mean, he's not a terrible quarterback. That's just, I don't know. He just doesn't have it. Going up against the Bengals, AJ Green, Kyler Boyd, Joe Mixon's back. They don't have to worry about getting blown out.
Yeah.
They can play at their pace. And I feel like with Fitzpatrick, he might actually. No, they're not going to bring Fitzpatrick back out, but I feel like they need to. It feels like the offense plays way more with Fitzpatrick out there.
No, they're not going to.
He had some bad games, but it just seems like James. I don't know. He's too rusty, maybe. I don't know. He's not giving the ball to Mike Evans too much. He's not known for his deep balls. He's kind of just throwing it to OJ Howard or whatever, doing that like short range. I mean, this is pretty clear cut. I'm gonna say the Bengals win. I'll say 31-20.
Ooh. All right, Wazzle Top, who you got? Bengals, Bucks.
Yeah, the Bengals have looked better overall this season. They haven't been up and down as much as been after week 2. It's just that this magic can sort of evaporate completely from this team.
Yeah.
Been replaced by Winston. He has not put a good game together yet, and it's just again, at least for these 2 weeks that where it felt like this team was able to capitalize on great offensive pieces like Deshaun Jackson and Mike Evans. It just doesn't seem like they're able to capitalize now with those teams. I mean, Deshaun Jackson did have like a rushing touchdown, but it just I don't know. It just feels like they're a little bit they're just not now there to put up points and like I would expect from them. And I think Winston is kind of limiting him in that fact. He's not been playing well. Meanwhile, the Bengals, they're pretty consistent. I mean, again, I feel like the games the Bengals have lost, it's only been pretty competitive teams. So I think the Bengals, I think they handled their business here in this game. I'm gonna go Bengals by 10 at least. If I said it's Bengals 24, Bucks 38.
All right. Looks like I think we got another hat trick, gentlemen, because while Tampa Bay is decent, I don't think they have enough in the tank to beat Cincy at home. And Cincy is going to wash the taste out of their mouth from losing 2 straight, one to the Steelers and one to the Chiefs. And like you said, Joe Mixon is back, and like Cincy's running game is always something serious, something they want to look at. And the Bucks are not that good against the run. Now, you guys are going head to tails about whether Fitz is going to step back into the game. But I bet you if the Bucks are down by 21 or something like that, then they'll probably let Fitz come in there and work his magic. But I see this probably being a little bit of I think it'll probably be within a 10-point game, maybe not, but we'll see. But going ahead and just on the safe side, go ahead and give me Cincy by 6 points over the Bucks. 27-21.
Pretty close game, man. You sure about that?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, Like I said, do I trust Tampa Bay to put up 21 points? Yes, but do I trust Cincy even more to top that, to match that? Absolutely, they can match that and even exceed it. But yeah, 27-21. All right, next up, ooh, we got the New York Jets going on the road against the Chicago Bears. Flip, who you got? Jets, Bears.
Um, um, I think Bilal Powell's out with a neck injury.
Mm.
Isaiah Crow, he's come down to earth finally. Sam Darnold got demolished by that Vikings defense. Is Khalil Mack back this week?
I think so.
Well, if he's back on the ball. Yeah, if he's back, rest in peace to Sam Darnold.
Oh, man.
It wasn't a really good game. Javon Curse, or whatever that Jermaine Curse dude,
Yeah.
he had a slump this week. Their receiving game, I don't know, man. They don't have, I don't know. The one dude, Robbie Anderson, he's probably their best receiver, and they seem to be able to shut him down pretty well. He had some big plays against the Vikings, but I mean overall, they shut the ball down on him. It just seems like a game that the Bears should win. They're clicking. They finally got their offense going. It looks like Tree Cohen being the lead back, or at least premier back. It seems like that was the missing piece. Jordan Howard kind of lost that offense now, but Allen Robinson is still gone. Trey Burton's still gone. Their defense. They've given up points, but I feel like with Khalil Mack back, they should be on point again. So I'll say Bears 28 and Jets 13.
All right. Walter Top, who you got? Jets, Bears.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bears.
Yeah.
Despite the last couple of games that have had some, they lost. They had a tough loss. They should have probably beaten the Dolphins, and you could argue that takeaways from the special teams and defensive touchdowns from the Patriots. They could have beaten the Patriots as well. So I mean, the team has been hell surprising this season. Trubisky has been a little bit better. I still trust them to perform great offensively, but it's still that defense. I still trust them. Cohen. I feel like the team should be making better use of Jordan Howard, but
Yeah.
as suggested, I don't know why they don't. I feel like they could really open up the offensive playbook. Probably just resort a little more. But at the end of the day, I don't. Again, I know we're talking about. I mentioned earlier that Darnold might have been a better pick potentially for the Giants. However, he did look great past game. I don't think he's going to look any better against the Bears defense. Give me the Bears in this 24 Jets 12.
All right. Now, you know what they say, you're only as good as your last game. And the Chicago Bears looked phenomenal against the Patriots. A lot of people argue that they should have actually won that game. But then again, I mean, hindsight is 2020, right? New York Jets, the Jets have given a couple of teams a handful. They've given some teams all they can handle. Now, whether they won or whether they lost, hindsight is 2020 on that too. This is actually on paper a good match. It's a sleeper matchup. A lot of people are surprisingly sleeping on this game, but you can tune into this game and actually expect some good football from both sides. But I trust Mitchell Trubisky just a little bit more than Sam Darnold, especially when it comes to protection. I think that Darnold is going to get sacked more than Trubisky is. And I think that Trubisky can utilize his weapons a little bit better than Darnold. I mean, even though Darnold was probably, I guess QB accuracy and QB IQ is still the same because they're both still inexperienced, but they both have a hell of an arm. But I think that it's a game at Soldier Field too. So I think Trubisky's gonna work his magic. Go ahead and give me the Bears in this game. 34-24 over the Jets. All right, next game. Ooh, we got the Baltimore Ravens at the Carolina Panthers at AT&T Bank Stadium. Flip, you want to start us off?
Sure. Man,
Yeah, because you got a team that lost a very, very close game against a team that came back and won. So you got to look at both of those.
and it's that, and it's the fact that I don't really trust Cam.
Really?
I don't know. Look, he's got Greg Olsen, Devin Funches has stepped up as a wide receiver one. He's got Christian McCaffrey in the backfield, and he's still, I don't know, he looks like he can't get it done with that offense. It's weird. They finally got clicking in the fourth quarter against that Eagles defense, sure. But, you're not going to have that against the Ravens.
Well,
the Ravens defense is probably way better than the Eagles defense. I feel like John Brown, Michael Crabtree, and Willie Snead are pretty solid wide receiver group. Alex Collins and Boris Allen are pretty solid in that backfield too. Joe Flacco hasn't looked bad this season. That's a really well-rounded team. And I feel like if Cam falls behind against them, I don't see him pulling off a fourth quarter comeback or something. They're kind of lost, and I feel like the Ravens are going to take advantage of that. He might pull a little bit of a comeback, but I don't think he's going to do what he did against the Eagles. I'll say Ravens to win 27-20.
27-20. All right. What's the time for you got? Panthers, Ravens.
I don't know. Personally, I think Cam has looked pretty good all things considered. I think it took a little while to get McCaffrey going. And obviously, Olsen wasn't there at the beginning. He was gone for a little while. Just now got him back. And granted, I think this has potential to be game of the week in terms of. I think this is going to be a really, really close game. It is kind of a coin flip. When I think of both teams, I think both teams are playoff contenders. The Panthers have really good wins on their resumes, but so do the Ravens. Both quarterbacks. And again, I think Flacco is a little more like. I think both quarterbacks have their way of handling the pocket when it breaks down. I think Flacco can scramble and make plays with his legs, versus Flacco, he doesn't seem to get too flustered. He still keeps his eyes down the pocket, still throws the deep ball, with all the chaos going on around him. But I'll lean on. I will lean on. I think the Ravens. I think the Ravens have potential to break out offensively versus the Panthers in this game. It's gonna be close. Yeah, the coin flip. I'm going with the Ravens. I have a gut feeling about that. Give me the Ravens in this game. 1-1 Panthers.
All right. I've been kind of juggling making a decision on this one myself. Like I said, you got Carolina, who came back against a team that was whooping on them for the first 3 quarters of the game, and then you got a team in Baltimore who was hanging with the Saints who's a top team in the league right now, and then they blow it at the end. But then again, that was because of a field goal. I mean, other than that, that was a pretty neck and neck game. It could have went either way. Um, Now, if you ask me who I trust more between Flacco and Cam Newton, I reluctantly would have to say I might trust Joe Flacco just a tad bit more than Cam Newton. But Cam Newton, I mean, if there's one thing that you can say about him is he will fight for those extra yards. He will make a play on his own. He trusts his line and he trusts himself. Does he take some unnecessary hits? Does he take unnecessary punishment? Absolutely. But that shows you like what he's willing to do to get his team where they need to get. Now Joe Flacco, he's got a hell of an arm. He's got good QB IQ. But I mean, as far as he's probably one of the better pocket passers that we've got this generation. Now weapons. Man, I think the receiving core is just a tad bit even, but I think that the running game is more in the favor of Carolina. Carolina just has a slightly better running game than they do. Especially if Cam gets in the rhythm, he feels. I mean, if Christian McCaffrey can open it up for him a little bit, then he won't be scared to scramble outside the pocket. He can get a first down. Now the defenses. This is what it's going to come down to. They can't win if they don't score. At least that's what they say. But like I said, if like Cam is he's the comeback kid. He's proven that he can come back from adversity. Now, Flip, you made a case about Carolina's. I mean, you made a case about the Eagles' defense not being as good as the Ravens' defense. But I mean, that remains to be seen. We'll see. I might be taking a little bit of a risk or a gamble by saying this. Go ahead and give me the Panthers by 6 points over Baltimore, 30-24. And the reason, and like I said, it's at AT&T Bank Stadium. Carolina's at home in this game, so that gives me a little bit more leeway because I think they win 75% of their home games, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I could be spitballing, but last I looked it up, they won over 70% of their home games.
In the first, second, and third quarter.
Oh yeah. All right, All right, next up, we got the Indianapolis Colts going on the road against the ever underachieving Oakland Raiders. Flip, who you got? Colts, Raiders.
Oh man, no more Cooper to take away those 2 targets.
Yep.
No more Marshawn Lynch to act like he's 20 again.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the Raiders in this one, man. It was like
really?
It was like they got it going, man. That those trades that John Gruden has been making, they're blockbuster trades, man. Those first round picks are gonna kill on the field. To be honest, I don't know, man. The Colts are weird. I want to pick the Colts to win this, obviously. But I have this weird feeling that the Raiders might make it a close game. It just feels like maybe like a trap game for the Colts. Which is weird because they're not like undefeated or anything. It's just, I feel like this might be a game where the Raiders surprise us. With no Amari Cooper and no Marshawn Lynch, maybe Doug Martin and Jalen Richard get it done in the backfield. Jordan Nelson has one of his big games. Derek Carr actually throws it to the right team.
Yeah.
I want to say Andrew Luck obviously pulled through with this one. Marlon Max looking really good in that backfield. Rest in peace, 99. I'm sorry, Marlon.
Oh, yeah.
But, I think Colts win this one. I'll say 30-21.
All right, Mazel Tov, who you got? Colts, Raiders.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how this trade works out in favor for the Raiders. It's just it's funny because I think obviously Cooper was not performing at all well this season. Now definitely below what his talent suggests. So I guess it makes sense that he gets moved. I just think that the Raiders again are just taking a shot. And obviously, Shitlin's on the IR. I just think all signs point to this being a tanking season for Oakland. John Gruden, just has not been a great welcoming back after his long layoff. Nothing about this team that leads me to believe in them whatsoever. Meanwhile, the Colts are kind of scrappy. Andrew Luck is having quietly, again, a really, really great season. He's on pace to throw almost 40 touchdowns, 4,500 yards. I mean, it's crazy. This guy's been removed from the league for so long, for at least a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And what's crazy is, obviously, he's coming back off of that injury with the shoulder. He's actually on pace to throw the football more than he's ever thrown in his career in a season. I thought the Colts are just completely, giving in the keys, and they're completely working that shoulder for all it's worth, which, we would think that they would try to make this, overall, the course of the season might make it easier on them to get the running game going more, but I don't know if it's been because of some of the injuries they had, but maybe with Mac back for a little while, they'll rely on the run game a little bit more, but, I mean, they're definitely not shying away from the passing game, and Blunt's delivering by all accounts. In this game, I think it's going to be a blowout. I don't think the Raiders pose any sort of a threat defensively to Indianapolis. I think Indianapolis, they take them to the woodshed. I'm going to go give me the Colts in this game. Colts 31, Raiders 17.
All right. You guys pretty much just broke it down better than I could. The thing is, whenever Oakland steps on the field, we never know what we are going to get. And I'm sorry to say it, but Derek Carr needs some protection, and not because the line. I think he might be made out of glass. But then again, what quarterback does like getting hit? I mean, and they have all the weapons that you could possibly ask for, but it's just that he's not getting enough protection. I mean, you wouldn't either if you only get 2 seconds to throw the damn ball. And as far as Indianapolis, the only thing that you can really say about them that's bad is their defense, more specifically their secondary. Andrew Luck, he can make things happen. He got some tricks up his sleeve because he's if you could really ask for a more technically sound quarterback. Now I don't know if the reason why Indianapolis loses games is because of coaching decisions or is because of defense, but Indianapolis is a team that's slept on. But with that in mind, go ahead and give me the Colts by 7 points over Oakland. All right. Next up, we got the San Francisco 49ers going up against the Arizona Cardinals, who just got blown out last week. Flip, who you got? Cards, 49ers.
Oh, man, the dreaded rematch.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Here's the two things that I'm thinking of when I'm thinking of this match. The 49ers didn't have Marquise Goodwin, and the Cardinals did have Mike McCoy.
Yeah.
So we need to see what this new offensive coordinator is going to do with David Johnson, I think. The Cardinals showed that they can kind of hang with the 49ers. And also, another thing, is Patrick Peterson going to get traded before this game?
I think so, with the way it's looking.
That might be big, man. That's definitely a breath of fresh air for the 49ers if he does. I hope so. But Marquise Goodwin, George Kittle, Matt Breida, he's on one leg, but he still runs.
Yeah.
Beathard has been a pretty solid replacement for Garoppolo. I'm impressed. I feel like he could have won the last game. It was pretty unfortunate. I think they could have won.
The Packers?
No, against the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like the last game the Niners played, not like the last.
Oh, no. I mean, they could have won that game too. Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah.
No, you're right. No, I thought you meant the Rams. Like them getting blown by the
Rams. Oh, the Rams.
They could have won that last game.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I feel like the 49ers have the better offense. I feel like the defense kind of bailed out the Cardinals in the last game with that 6-6. Josh Rosen looks like he's losing confidence every week. I think the 49ers have the pass rush to get to him. They can game plan this time around. I'm going to take the 49ers in this one. I'll say 49ers win 24-16.
All right. Walter Top, who you got? You got the Niners or you got the Cardinals?
So I think we got the front seven that can rattle.
Yeah.
Granted, that was not the case against the Cardinals previous game. They were kind of doing things pretty handily against us. Christian Kirk was lighting up our secondary, and unfortunately, if our secondary is not that good, we get forced pretty handily, and David Johnson, pretty solid game if I'm not mistaken from that last game they played against us. I just don't. Again, I actually like. CJ didn't have a great game. They had a really poor game against the Rams. The Rams had their probably best defensive game this season against us. And the Niners have looked better offensively previously prior to that game, but I'm just not sure if the wheels are starting to come off of this wagon and the Niners are just going to start slowly tanking and playing and performing terribly going into the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I would not like to think that. I hope that Shanahan's got some motivation. And honestly, I think a guy like CJ, he had some games where he looked pretty well, and then this could be a potential, audition for another team. He gets let go. So obviously, he can have some stuff improved. I don't know. I can't really. It's hard for me to pick us after losing at home to this game. So I don't trust the Niners on the road in this one. I will pick the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals. The Cardinals get it done. The Niners have enough fun. The Niners. I'm just looking hard. If this is the Niners squad right after the Packers game, I would maybe pick them, but they just fell so flat against the Rams. I also think they're going to pick it back up against the Cardinals. Give me the Cardinals in this game, 20-20. Niners, 14.
Now, seeing as how Arizona has gotten embarrassed in their last game and San Francisco had a boxing match with the Green Bay Packers and have had some pretty decent showings against other teams who are a lot of teams who are above average. Now, you guys are right about Arizona may possibly be getting crippled by the end of this week. If they ain't got Patrick Peterson, you can pretty much just go ahead and just write them off. They still got a couple weapons left. They got Larry Fitzgerald is Larry Fitzgerald, of course. But that can't be all you got. Because San Francisco, they've got some pretty good weapons themselves. Now, if only they can get their running game back to the way it was, then, you can make up a little bit more of a case for them. But this is a hard one. This really is hard. And I might be taking a little bit of a risk or a gamble by saying this, but go on ahead and give me the 49ers by 8 points over Arizona. Yeah. 20-28. All right. Next up, we got the Green Bay Packers on the road against the LA Rams. Flip, start us off.
Um, the Green Bay Packers. I don't know, man. Aaron Rodgers might die this game. I think he's been kind of hinting at it. I think he's scared of Aaron Donald too. And in these interviews, he keeps begging Mike McCarthy to run the ball with Aaron Jones. He keeps saying he can't drop back 40, 50 times a game and expect to survive. But I kind of think he's hinting at Mike McCarthy to get his shit together and run this ball this game. We saw it with the Seahawks. They ran it pretty well against the Rams, and it was a pretty close game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to have to be the case this game. I don't think you can have Aaron Rodgers drop back and try to throw it to Devontae Adams, Geronimo Allison, and Randall Cobb. You got to get your running game involved because Aaron Donald and Sue, if they have 50 chances to kill Aaron Rodgers, they're probably going to kill him about 7 or 8 times. So, yeah, I mean, it depends on if Mike McCarthy lets Aaron Jones run the ball. He's been running really well this year. Aaron Rodgers can make a comeback. Jared Goff, I mean, the Rams offense is high-powered anyway. You want to run the ball, just keep off the field. So, I mean, all signs point to run the ball for the team. But I just have this spot that is going to keep throwing the ball against the Rams, and they're not going to be able to keep up, and maybe Aaron Rodgers makes some, like, fourth-quarter comeback. But, I mean, it's Aaron Donald. I don't have faith in Aaron Rodgers this game, so I'm going to say Rams will win 34-24.
All right. What's the time for you guys? Packers Rams.
I like the Rams in this game. At home, the Rams still unbeaten. Packers should have lost prior to their bye. We'll see if Aaron Rodgers is getting more healthier without the knee brace on. But prior to Steph, Todd Gurley having arguably a remarkable season, possible potential 30 touchdown guy this season, and Jared Goff having a really good season, another Pro Bowl year for him, it looks like. And then it's I think going forward, looking at the Rams schedule, I'm just thinking ahead right now. I'm like, could this team maybe go undefeated? I think they have 2 tough games left after this one, Saints and Chiefs. After that, it's a really good chance. I think those 2 games after this Packers game are really the toughest games left for the Rams. So I don't know. The Packers defense is not good for me. I think the Rams are this is a potential 40-point game. But you know what? With Aaron Rodgers, he might be able to get at least 27, 30 back. But give me the Rams in this one. I'm going to go Rams 37, Packers 28.
All right. Now, gentlemen, you remember earlier when I said that I was my game of my underdog of the week might surprise you.
You're not an underdog, though, man.
They're almost a 10-point underdog.
Yeah, surprisingly, yes, they are.
No, I can't accept it as an underdog, Greg.
Yes, you can. I mean, with the Rams are looking unbeatable right now. But I mean, I'll take a.
Russell Wilson unbeatable, man. Aaron Rodgers has a chance.
Well, yeah, I can't argue with that. I can't really argue with that. But thing is, do you guys trust Green Bay's running game at all against the Rams defense?
Yeah, if they run, that's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah. Hopefully he doesn't get jammed up at the line to where he only gets like a yard and a half per carry. But Aaron Rodgers, man, he's got that arm and he's got that killer comeback, But you guys might be right in the sense LA Rams having too many weapons. But one thing that the Rams don't have that the Packers do have is clock management. You notice the Rams when they score, boom, 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 they score quick. Their time of possession, and the one thing that Aaron Rodgers good is doing is milking the clock. So for all intents and purposes, let's just say the score is 28 Rams, 24 Green Bay. There's a minute and 12 left on the clock, and Aaron Rodgers is at the 55-yard line. What do you think? What do you think is? Oh, real. The thing is, he's faced scarier DEs than him, and even scarier defensive lines. Well, not really scarier, but defensive lines who are just as scary. And guess what? He's gotten it done. Aaron Rodgers got it done time and time again because it seems like he knows exactly where and when to place the ball.
Did you watch the Cardinals Rams game?
Yeah.
Did you see Aaron Donald lift their center off his feet?
Oh my goodness, yes. Mm-hmm.
I know and it's like a final minute. You know he's gonna be in high powered overdrive mode, just ready to kill Aaron Rodgers. No, I just can't see it, man. They have to run the ball and keep the ball out of Jared Goff and that offensive man.
Mike McCarthy's gonna have to draw. He's gonna have to draw. Have a lot of those draw plays type of runs or those delayed handoffs or those sweep type of runs in order for them to throw Aaron Donald off. He's gonna have to pitch a lot, sweep runs, fake pitches. That's what he's gonna have to do to throw him off. Because he's coming for Aaron Rodgers. He is. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a sack or two, but I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he's a tough cookie. He can take a sack. And can't believe I'm saying this, but I've got the Green Bay Packers slaying the dragon in this game. I'm gonna go with the upset. Give me the Packers by 4 points over the Rams.
I can see it too, but I don't know.
Is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? I'll leave that up to you. All right. And now, the matchup that I've been waiting to get to. The New Orleans Saints on the road against the Minnesota Vikings in that rematch. Who wants to start us off with this one? Flip, you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure, why not?
All right, go ahead.
Dalvin Cook might not be playing. Latavius Murray has looked good as a backup.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Latavius Murray, I don't know. I just don't trust him too much. I mean, it's the same defense. He could probably run against them pretty well. I just think that Dalvin Cook being there would be much more refreshing to hear.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Kirk Cousins, Thielen, Diggs, Kyle Rudolph. I think Treadwell too. Treadwell's actually been catching the ball too. I mean, their offense can keep up with the Saints. It's not a blowout or Saints can't run away with it. I just think it's going to be kind of disappointing.
Oh, really?
I feel like maybe the Saints might just pull away with this one.
Wow.
I mean, come on, think about it. Last game they had that game in the bag. It's just a miracle misplay by I think it was the rookie, right? Lattimore.
Uh-huh.
That was Lattimore. Yeah. I think it was just a rookie misplay. They got lucky and they won. I don't think it's happening this time. I think Saints are going to win. I don't think they're going to slow up. They'll probably try to run the score up on them. You're seeing the Vikings kind of falter against these teams that they should have won against pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
I got Saints winning this. I'll say 35-27.
All right. What's the time for you guys? Saints Vikings.
Yeah, I like I do like the Pinkerton win. It's great because you have a matchup between you know you have opposite ends. You have potentially the top two receivers, at least arguably for this season, in Adam Thielen and Michael Thomas, having remarkable speed. Um, Quarterback, I mean, defensively, obviously, I will give the edge to Minnesota. They're at home. Running back will give the edge to the one. Quarterback, the edge to the one. Um, so it all falls on that defense. Now, Minnesota's defense has not been as good as it was last year. They've taken a step back. Like you say, that's due to injuries, what have you.
Yeah.
But, they've rebounded against, somewhat kind of, not great competition against, Cardinals and Jets. This is a different animal and Drew Brees is the same. I think, like Flip said, it did take a miracle play for the Vikings to pull it out. So I don't think forgot that.
And they don't have Case Keenum. Don't forget that.
Right. They don't have Case Keenum. They don't. They have arguably an upgrade. Kirk Cousins has playing really well. Has been playing really well. It's an upgrade for him. But right now, again, I think Dalvin Cook being questionable. I don't know if they can win this game without him playing, let alone at full force. Give me the Saints in this game. I'm going to go Saints 27, Minnesota 20.
Now, a lot of people are questioning if Minnesota winning in the playoff round last season was a fluke. Now, both of these teams are coming into this game kind of beat up from last week. The Saints got all they could handle from the Ravens, and you could argue that the Ravens' defense is just as good, if not way better, than the Minnesota Vikings at this point. But Minnesota, I mean, they got a hell of a lot of weapons, that they can utilize on the offensive side of the ball. And I'm gonna go ahead and say, Walter, you're right. Kirk Cousins is a slight upgrade over Case Keenum, even though Case Keenum is a certified backup quarterback. He did hella work with the Minnesota Vikings last year. And Drew Brees, you guys are right about that too. As long as you got Drew Brees' arm, you got a chance to win. And it doesn't matter if it is the Minnesota's home stadium. Man. This is also one that I hope I don't regret for this one. But go on ahead and give me the Minnesota Vikings by 6 points. I don't know if it's going to be by a touchdown and a missed field goal or if it's going to be 2 field goals. But we'll see. But just give me Minnesota by 6 points over the Saints. All right, and last but not least, we got the New England Patriots on the road against the Buffalo Bills. Flip, who you got? Yeah, let's make this quick.
Patriots win. I'll say 24-10. They don't have any chance. LaShawn McCoy is probably not going to play. Derek Anderson.
Yeah.
No. Their defense is solid, but I mean the Patriots.
It's not enough.
Carve them up. Yeah. Maybe 24-27 again.
All right. Walter, who you got? Pats, Bills.
Yeah, that's all the way. The only thing, again, I'm concerned about going forward, this is a easy win for the Pats, but I think the Pats did get exposed defensively. I mean, Mitchell Trubisky was running around back there like Michael Vick against that team. I never seen a quarterback that slow, be that mobile against the defense.
Yeah.
So it's, I'm concerned. And honestly, the Bronx account health, which, if they don't have a Bronx, the Patriots team is not going to win the postseason. Not when you got, Patrick Mahomes, not when you got, Steelers, Danny Strong's got 100% in playing well for them to do anything. So they can get by with these regular season wins, knocking off, their AFC opponents, but going forward, they need a little bit more. And honestly, I'm concerned about the loss to Tony Michelle, but hopefully they get back later in the season. I think he's looking to be out for this game, but I think that's not needed for the Bills.
Yeah.
The Patriots just take care of business. Patriots 28, Bills 13.
Now, whether Gronk plays or not, the Patriots have more than enough receiving weapons to light up the Bills' defense. I mean, come on. They got Edelman. They got Hogan. They've got Josh Gordon. So, yeah. And even James White. James White has been doing a pretty damn good job running the ball. I think he's one of the top 10, top 5 running backs in the league right now. James White. But
actually their top target receiver.
yeah, I mean, even more so. And the Bills, you're right, the defense is solid, but they have like no chemistry and no coordination on the offensive side of the ball. And at this point, it doesn't even really matter who's starting. Go on ahead and give me the Patriots in this game by I'm gonna be generous and say 9 points. All right, fellas. All right, gentlemen. You got any other comments, questions, any other things that you want to say before we sign out tonight?
I hope Melvin Gordon's all right.
Oh yeah. Yeah. One is more likely than the other, but we'll see. But yeah, Walter Todd, any other thing you want to say before you sign out tonight?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to obviously Green Bay, Los Angeles Rams. Obviously, we have the potential good NFC matchups with Green Bay and the Rams.
Yeah.
And also the Saints and Vikings. And I hope that your blood pressure and rant don't boil too high when Pittsburgh ends up probably tying with the Browns again.
Oh boy. I bet a lot of people would like to see that happen, but anything is possible in the NFL. They don't call it any given Sunday for nothing. But my final thoughts are, I am looking forward to that Sunday night game between the Vikings and Saints again. I'm looking for the Green Bay Packers to slay the dragon and upset the Rams. And of course, I'm gonna stick to my secondary prediction and say that the Steelers are gonna beat the Browns 35-0. I can dream, can't I? Oh yeah, definitely. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for this week's podcast. Thank you guys for watching. We really do appreciate the views. We appreciate the comments. And Flip Wazatov, my boys, my guys, my homies, thank you guys for hosting the show with me as always. I really do appreciate it.
No problem, man. Thanks for hosting us, man. Thanks for it. Congrats again on your 10 years, man. I need to.
All right, thank you guys, and we will see you next week. Peace out.